this team was so good in your first 3 years here in one-score games, and has kind of turned against you last year in this opener. Is that a trend that's becoming disturbing to you, or how do you assess where you are in close games right now?
Yeah, I mean, last thing I want to call it is a trend. It's been a tough challenge that we haven't been able to, as you said, get over that hump in the last year, and then obviously this past Sunday. But one-score games is something that I take pride in having the ball in my hands late in the game. And as you just said, I'm not very proud of the way that I've handled it and the teams handle it in the past recently, but it's something that I'm for sure will change. As I said, everybody's got to embrace that, from coaches to players, and allow that to become who we are, and know that we're going to go down there and we're going to score, we're going to get the points that are needed. So we're just going to continue to practice the right way, build confidence, and get over that hump and start a new trend, I should say.
How much do you talk to Kellen Moore about the game plan and specifically about, how good you are as a mobile quarterback and how successful, obviously, Seattle was against the Falcons last week, doing that sort of game plan?
Yeah, I mean, we're always talking. Me and the offensive coordinator, obviously, we want to be in sync. We want to have the same kind of thought process as we're going through the game, and that's something that me and Kellen make sure throughout the week. And then we do it again today, pretty much as the game plan wraps up. Kind of go through my favorites, the calls that I expect him to call, or maybe that I want one put higher on the call sheet, I should say, or maybe the plays I don't feel comfortable with. But that's something that we're always working on together. And it's part of the fact about being mobile. That's just part of my game. I allow it to come to me, whether the defense allows opportunities or not. I think that's when you see those. Plays happen more often.
Yeah, coming from a stadium, having any fans in the stands last week to having maybe upwards of 20,000, will you even notice that? Do you think that would be noticeable difference?
Big difference. Big difference.
In what way? Why do you think it would be such a big? Was it just so noticeable that there was nothing last week?
Yeah, I mean, there was no fans. You couldn't hear anything. You could hear pretty much the calls from the sideline all the way onto the field. It was very different. I mean, we've kind of made jokes trying to compare it to high school games, high school freshman games, or maybe even like JV games. The last game was. Obviously, now we're going to have a number of fans in the stadium. But I mean, last week you didn't hear music, you didn't hear necessarily the PA. So I imagine a big difference.
Dak, Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore raved about Zeke's pass protection against the Rams. Can you just talk a little bit about that element of his game, and how do you think his willingness to block sets him apart from other backs in the league?
Yeah, I mean, Zeke's willingness to do whatever it takes to help the team, I think, sets him apart. I think that makes him the player that he is. I think that makes him the guy that he is. He's going to do whatever he has to for the man to his right or left succeed, and if that takes blocking or if that takes him running through 4 or 5 guys with the ball, he's up for any challenge. And I just think that speaks to his character. I think that speaks to him as a football player. Whatever you ask him to do, Zeke's going to do it, and he's going to do it with the best of them.
You had a lot of long third downs in that first game, but when you look back on it, your third down efficiency overall, and what is that doing to impede what you want to do overall offensively right now? Yeah, I mean, we've got to be better in third downs. You can't finish with the numbers in 20% or so. So, I mean, that's just unacceptable, but we've definitely got to get ourselves in shorter third downs, ones that are easier to manage, where obviously you can run the ball or you can pass it, where it's an option and it's not just almost drop back every time. So, I mean, I think that helps us, and that's just being better on first and second down for the most part.
Hey, Dak, when you get to play an opponent the week after a great quarterback like Russell Wilson played the Falcons last week, and you're looking at that tape, in what ways is that beneficial to you to see a quarterback who's had, accomplished a lot in the league, and how he takes apart a defense if you're playing the following week?
Yeah, I mean, it's big. I mean, anytime you're watching any opponent, whether the quarterback attacks the defense or takes advantage of the opportunities, you can see those opportunities on tape. But as you look back last week, I mean, as you just said, Russell did a great job of taking advantage of those, taking advantage of some of the matchups he had, beating some of the coverages, and just allows you to almost take that and use some of that, put in your game plan. But you also have got to give credit to the defense, knowing that they're going to make changes, knowing that they're going to try to be better on their part and things that they're doing.
When you look back on game plan,
plans and that kind of thing, how do you try not to overanalyze what went right and what went wrong?
One more time.
When you look back on game plans, like when you look back at the game plan from last week, how do you try to balance not overanalyzing what went right and what went wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you watch the tape. There's a lot of good, and there's some bad too. So I mean, you've got to take the bad for what it is and try to grow off the good. So I mean, that's what we do individually at our positions, and then that's what we do as an offense, and then obviously as a team. So I mean, there's a lot of good that came from that tape, and so we're going to take the good things that we do, the things that we feel are our strengths and that fit to the strong part of our offense, and go back at those, and then try to clean up and fix the things that weren't.
I have to try someone else now.
Dak, how can you help with the protection? Just get the ball out quicker, make you faster. How can you help the guys in front of you?
Yeah, you just said it right there, getting the ball out of my hands. Simple as that. I mean, those guys are fighting their tails off, and I always tell them we work together, right? Some of the plays, I'm going to need them just to block a little bit longer, and then some of the plays, I'm going to have to do my job and help them out and just get the ball out fast. So we've just got to work hand in hand with one another, and obviously they know some plays I can keep alive with my feet, so we just got to be in it together. And I know that they're doing the best they can to fight, and as we've seen, Zeke's going to do the best he can as well. So, I mean, I trust those guys get the job done, and they trust that I'm going to get the ball out of my hand.
Hey, Dak, Coach Mike McCarthy talked about the fact you guys landed on Monday at 3 a.m. and were already in the building at 11 and already looking forward to the Falcons tape. How have just some of those changes in the schedule, turning the page quicker and even just the practice schedule as it relates to Saturday, how do you think that's helping you? What nuances of that have you seen translate on this football field, or do you think it'll help you?
Yeah, I mean, that's just being a pro, coming in shortly after a game and wiping the slate clean, fixing the mistakes, and then moving on to the next opponent. That's just something you have to be good at in this league, to be honest. And then as you move forward, as I've talked about, I think I said it last week, just the benefit of having the game plan in for me a day early just gives me another day to study my notes, to study my adjustments, to know what the defense is going to give me on the plays that we're putting in the game plan, and just feel even more confident heading into Sunday.
Dak, you had some moments last year when you were just feeling so good on offense. You said it was like a heat check moment. But how excited are you to experience that with this offensive group that you have and all the weapons you have this year?
Yeah, very excited. Those moments are going to come. We've got to allow the game to come to us, though. We can't try to force that. And me particular, just got to allow the pass game, allow those plays, and I think it's going to happen. Throwing some of those shorter routes and watching those guys take off, and then that's going to open up the shot, the home run shots, the double moves, and things like that. But the heat checks will come. I mean, the group of receivers we have, the playmakers we have, that's going to happen. So, I mean, as I said, just got to allow the game to come to us and not force anything.
Yeah, there were no deep shots into the one to Gallup. Did they keep you from doing that, or was that part of the game plan? Y'all doing more crossing routes with this new offense? Because you certainly took more shots last year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you just go back and you look at the game plan. That's something that we probably want to take advantage of and do more. I mean, I realized that was the first shot taken downfield as well. And when you have the receivers we have, I think you want to give them more opportunities to make plays, whether it's one-on-ones or whether it's a designed play or not. I think it's the play calling, and it starts with me, obviously, of making that decision of pushing the ball down the field, and knowing that I've got great playmakers that will go win those contested battles. But as I said, I mean, we gave ourselves a chance last week. Unfortunate right there as it ended on that first go ball that I took a shot at. But we'll continue to grow. It's a lot of football left, and we'll continue to grow as an offense and as a team.
I know last week was last week, but you look at replays, and it certainly looked like Ramsey did a great acting job on that play with Gallup.
You telling me?
That's what it looked good. I mean, is that what y'all saw?
I mean, I threw the ball. Obviously, you go back and look at the replay, and I can say there was a lot of this or that on every play. But I mean, that's a good player. Yeah, I mean, I think my guy did a great job. I think my guy went and fought for the ball. Obviously, they both were being handsy, but we've got to live what was called. We can't live in the past. Moving forward to this week.
We got time for one more, guys.
All right, go ahead, Dave. All right. What changes without Blake here for your offense going forward with the tight end you have now?
Yeah, I mean, next man up mentality. Schultz is going to come in and do a good job, as well as Blake Bell. They're going to come in and fill in that role, do what they have to do. But I mean, obviously losing Blake, it hurts. It hurts personally, obviously, just knowing everything that he's invested into this season, knowing his potential and what he was going to come out and do this year. You hate to see that. You hate to see that anytime during the season, but especially game one. But as I said, next man up, and got a lot of confidence in the group that'll come in behind him. Thank y'all.
Thank you.